Okay, we are trying this again today. You know, yesterday we had some challenges going live. Okay, so let me see. All right. I think it worked. I think it worked. Let me know if you are here. If you are here, let me know. Let me know that you are here. I am doing my best to see comments at the same time, so I do apologize if for
Yesterday we
some
had some
reason
chill that you.
um, I don't see your comment. Great. Okay. Good morning, Chanel. Good morning, Pat. Awesome. Okay. Okay. So that means that we are definitely good to go for day 2 on time today. Thank goodness. Okay, guys. So I'm going to be pinging. I guess the proper term is hey Candace and everybody. Okay, we're in. Awesome. Awesome. So, first, I want to encourage you guys to tag your people who are not here but should be. Yesterday was amazing, 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 amazing. I want to give a shout out to the ladies. We had Katrina, we had Terry, we had Audrey that really killed it online. They stepped up, and they actually put their money, quote unquote, where their mouth is. They stood up, they put it out, and they said, you know what, my products are going to be in these stores. They didn't just keep it contained into this group. And before I even introduce myself, I wanted to acknowledge these are the bold steps that you want to take to be able to move your product to that next level, right? And some of you may be saying, well, I'm only pushing 30 products, or I'm only pushing 50 products, or I'm only doing this, or I'm only doing that. How can I be in retail stores? I'm gonna share a story just a little bit later, just to show you guys how quickly something like this can turn around, how quickly you can do it. But here's the thing, you have to be willing to take that risk, right? You have to be willing to step out there, and you have to be willing to take that risk. When people say, hey, do this, raise your hand, step out there. If you had the opportunity today to pitch to a big box store, would you be ready? Right? Would you be ready? Because that's really the end all be all, right? I am going to venture to guess that most of you would probably say, well, no, probably not today. I'm not ready. Because otherwise, why would you be here, right? Why would you be here? Why would you be raising your hand to be a part of this challenge, right? Because you'd already be there. So I wanted to just say, like, the thing about the challenge that's different from a masterclass, that's different from a webinar, that's different from a seminar, that's different from a retreat, is that challenges each and every day, you have to rise to the occasion. Each and every day, you have to do something that's going to move the needle forward. Each and every day, you have to implement. One of the things about retail is that you have to be one of those people that are willing to kind of speed through, accelerate to implementation, right? And I want you guys to tag some of your friends and people that you know that are a part of the challenge. I know we're going to start tagging people and inviting them, the people that are members of this group, because I want everybody to get this content. One of the quick things that I shared, and then I'm gonna go into my regular spiel, but one of the things that I shared yesterday about the retail market and the product market that's different from some of the service-based industries is that people will buy multiple of the same type of products. So what do I mean, right? For example, if I like a certain type of juice, if I like a certain type of drink, right? It's not just one. Usually it's going to be a multitude of different things, which is why this is such a great opportunity. And there really is, quite frankly, not a lot of competition. Like, it seems like it's a lot of competition because that's what we are taught to believe. We're taught to believe that there's a lot of competition in the marketplace, but it isn't, right? And I wanted to really just start with that because that's a part of what we talked about yesterday. Yesterday, we talked a lot about mindset. We talked a lot about our views around how far we could go in this retail industry, right? And so I'm going to pause right there and go ahead and introduce myself. I am LaTanya Moore. I am an award-winning entrepreneur. I am an attorney and managing partner of the Southern Regional Law Group. One of the things that we are, I will say, most proud of, that I am most proud of personally, is being a fourth generation entrepreneur. The side of that I'll be honest with you that I'm not so proud of, quite frankly, is the fact that nobody handed me a business. Nobody taught me how to do business. Nobody taught me how to grow a business, but I did learn how to work for myself. So in my journey, one of the things that I realized is that my business needs to work for me. I don't need to work for my business, right? I don't need to work in my business. I need to work on my business. And in order to do that, there are certain things that I had to implement. And we're going to talk about that today in the retail context. But it takes a certain mindset to get there. I shared with you guys and kind of in line with what we're going to be talking about today. One of the reasons that really no one handed me a business was because, of course, well, my father is still with us, but there was nothing to hand over, right? This was actually a replacement of work income, right? It was like, okay, I want to make a better life for my family, so I'm going to create a lane for myself that will replace me going to work every day, right? I had to learn through other means. I had to learn through networking. I had to learn through being exposed to other things that if I want my son to have a different outcome, then I have to do something different. I have to shift my mindset. I have to see and believe that it is possible for me to create something that is sustainable, right? That's profitable, that I can then leave, that's healthy, that I can then leave for my son to continue on through, whatever his next phase is, right? And that takes a huge mindset shift. So it really goes beyond seeing my product in the store, right? Because theoretically, we can all say that. And a lot of you did the exercise yesterday where I asked you to drop in the group, where do you want your products to be, right? Just make a declaration. My products are going to be here, 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 and here. A lot of you watched the video. A lot of you were here live, but only a small number of people actually dropped those in there. See, you got to be bold enough to make that declaration. One of the things that I put out today, I said, whatever is in your mind, that's what's going to manifest. So if what's in your mind is limitation, if what's in your mind is I can't do this alone, or I don't have anybody to help me, if all of that, if that's what's in your mind, that's what's going to manifest. It is very important that you get that. It's very important that you get that. If you're watching today and you didn't get an opportunity to see yesterday's, I'm going to encourage you to go back in your free time, right? It's a little bit more than 30 minutes. I'm going to encourage you, if you have to listen to it while you're on the treadmill, while you're walking, I'm going to encourage you to go back and look at yesterday's. I'm going to encourage you to not just look at it, not just listen to it, but also participate in some of the exercises that we talked about, because we had some awesome exercises and we had these ladies who they just rose to the occasion, right? So it's very important that we that we participate, because it is a challenge. Thank you, Terry. Terry said it was phenomenal, and Terry was one of the people that stepped up. I saw her on IG with her beautiful products, with her face on the front. Let me tell you something. It is bold when you're willing to put your face on a product, right? Listen, what other seal of approval do you need but putting your own face on a product? So definitely kudos to Terry, kudos to Katrina, also kudos to Audrey, who just stepped out there and said, this is where my product is going to be. And I love it. And so my team and I, we had the opportunity to kind of scour through social media, because I told you guys that's what we were going to be looking for. Because at the end of the challenge, right, at the end of the challenge, we have some things that we're going to offer, right? Or let me say this, there's some things that are going to be available to the people that have stepped up, to the people that have said, hey, you know, I'm ready to go to that next level, right? Because the next level is not for everybody. So I'm very excited. And again, wanted to just say kudos to Terry, because she is here. I also shared yesterday that this is a great opportunity. It's a grand opportunity. There is a projection that by 2024, which is not that far away, in-store sales, it's not online, in-store sales will be $21.4 trillion globally by 2024. How much of that is yours? How much of that is yours, right? Because that's really what we're talking about. I want all of you to get a piece of that $21.4 trillion. And remember, we talked about the projection is that by the end of 2021, there will be a $3.3 trillion in-store sales here in the United States. That's a lot in-store. So I shared that opportunity with you guys yesterday, and I wanted to talk about that because I want you guys to understand where your focus should be, right? This is where mindset comes in. And that's why I shared with you guys, it is an opportunity right now to sell these products in store and out of store, because like I told you guys, there's going to be some issues with shipping. There's going to be some supply chain issues, right? On the shipping end, where people are going to want to have instant access to your product. They do not have time to be playing around waiting on the post office for 27 days. Look, I researched a lot of y'all, right? I didn't just come here just doing this. I researched a lot of you guys, and a lot of you are in the health and wellness space. A lot of you are in like health and beauty. So, you know, let me see. Pat says, I went to the store yesterday and was amazed at the shelf space for products. I went down every aisle looking, right. I told you guys yesterday. And let me say this, kudos to Pat. Kudos to Pat, because I was hoping that somebody would do that, right? Because one of the things that I know, and I deal with people in all areas of the United States. And one of the things that I understand is that this is a phenomenon that's going on all over the place. I happen to be in Houston, Texas, which is a large metro area. Pat is in the Los Angeles, California area. Again, another large metro area. And she has verified that it's so much space, right? Empty space. That means that there is room for your products. Y'all should listen. I need to be getting some type of amen or something here, because you guys should be absolutely floored, right? And here's the thing. It is not just in the health and beauty, right? It's not just in that aisle. It's also in the food aisle, right? Terry says, yes, the problem is happening now, right? Pat says, come October 3rd, shipping prices go up at least 30%. So think about that. This is why the time is now for you to get into the stores, because then you won't have this challenge, right? You won't have people saying, well, I want to buy the product, but I don't want to pay $20 to ship, to just get it. Let me just go to the store and see if I can find something comparable. No, you want them to go to the store and get your product. You want to be able to say also available in if for whatever reason your product runs out online, okay? This is why it's going to be crucial. So I want to push to today, right? Today, yesterday we talked about mindset. Thank you, ladies, so much, and gentlemen, so much for going out, doing some research, right? Some reconnaissance on your own so that you can see. I'm not just making this up. It's not just Houston, right? It is really all over the place, right? It's really all over the place. So, one of the things that when we work with our private clients, right, and we've been doing this is not anything new to our company, right? We have been doing this for a while. And when we work with our private companies, one of the first things that we look at is who's on your team, right? We understand the product. Typically people come to us, they already have sales, they already kind of know who their person is, who they're reaching out to, right? They know that already. But what they are lacking oftentimes is a really strong team, because we do what? We bootstrap. And with bootstrapping is not just money. Bootstrapping is also people. Sometimes we just kind of grab who's available to us, right? And have them to come along and be a part of the team. Now, when you first start out, it may not be anything wrong with that. But you guys are here in the Retail Accelerator Challenge, which means that you need to be getting your company positioned to get those products on store shelves, because you don't know what's going to happen. I want to share a really quick story. Now, I shared this on social media, but I want to give some meat to the story. There was the gentleman, a chef, who had a restaurant. And you guys know during COVID, restaurants were hit exceptionally hard. There were, depending on what metro area you were in, right? You probably were shut down 4 to 6 months, okay? Depending on the metro area, depending on where you were, lots of places were shut down. You just wasn't sure, just was not sure, what was going on. A lot of companies closed their doors and never opened, right? They never reopened. Even when there was the opportunity to reopen, they never reopened, right? I shared a story about a gentleman who, he was a chef, same thing happened to him. But instead of shutting his doors forever, during the time that he was closed, he said, okay, I need to get my product in stores, because remember, only essential areas were open, and the grocery stores were one of those, right? These big box retailers that I'm telling you guys about, they are not gonna close. They're gonna be essential for life, right? And sustainability. And he knew that. So what did he do? He took what he had, he connected with 3 or 4 other people, and they came together and they created this thing called soul food starter kits, right? We're gonna drop that in the chat, because I want you guys to research his story. Soul food starter kits, right? Because guess what? This is what he was doing. He was selling soul food. So he like, hey, if you want to make your soul food at home, because people had to cook. It wasn't no delivery. You had to figure out how you gonna make food. So why not make great food at home? This was his vision, right? So here's the thing. He created these starter kits. Now, mind you, this person was shut down, which means he had zero coming in. From the time he was shut down and had, first of all, it went to 90%, then it went to 0. From the time he was in that position to the time that his products got to store shelves, 9 months. This is a person that was not already selling these starter kits. This was a person that wasn't really selling anything. But you know what? He realized that his livelihood and the life of his family, the livelihood of his family depended on a true pivot that was not going to just be for right now, but something that was going to grow and change and be sustainable. In addition to realizing that, he also realized that he needed the right team. He needed to put together the right team for this to happen in short order. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of us can't live that long and still have a home, right? And still have a business. So we have to move very quickly. Here's the other thing. During COVID, what happened is that the barrier to entry, right? What used to take months and months and months and pitching and meeting and tasting and all this type of stuff has now been condensed and compressed into about a 90-day time frame. For most places, even less, right? Depending on where you are and depending on, what targets that you're reaching out to, even less time, right? To be able to do that. So now you're talking about his lead time, right? He pulled his team together. They created these starter kits. The packaging is absolutely gorgeous, right? What am I saying to you? What I'm saying to you is sometimes when your back is against the wall, right? You do what you have to do. right? You come together, you say, okay, who do I need in my business? Who do I need on my team? Who's on my squad? Right? And so one of the questions, I'm going to write this down because we're going to talk about this. I need to know who's on your squad. And if it's just you, it's okay, right? I need you to answer the question, who's on my squad? So I need you to drop that in the comments. My squad is whoever, right? Could be, my squad is just me, right? My squad is me and, some people that, I contract with. I have a 5-person team, whatever. I need to know what your team is, right? And that's gonna make sense a little bit later. So I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to kind of drop that in the comments. So here's the thing, right? For me, one of the things that I realized in my business, and again, this was during COVID, to just give you guys an idea of how these business pivots and how pulling a team together really works. One of the things that started happening is that I lost a lot of my clients. Same thing. I had a lot of restaurant clients, lounges, entertainment, things like that. All of these were shut down. Okay. So I lost a lot of clients, and I had to just say, okay, I had to eat it because I wasn't going to try to hold them to the contract. So what I realized was, I said, there's a gap, right? But there's also a need that needed to be filled. Think about what I said about this gentleman, right? He realized that there was a need that needed to be filled, and it wasn't just his pockets. He said, there are people that really, even if they can cook, they can't cook good quality food at home. So what did he do? He created these starter kits, right? For us, what we turned around and did, we had a lot of people that literally were coming saying, look, I got this side gig that I'm doing. I need to get this going, right? I need to get this going because I don't know what's happening at my job. I don't know if we're going back to work. We've been laid off, blah, blah, blah. So again, back against the wall, right? My back was against the wall too. I'll just be honest. And so what we did was we actually created a way to almost streamline these processes, this being one of them, but also, for our service-based businesses. And so what we saw during that time, just to kind of give you an idea, our clients combined had over $1 million in sales. Over $1 million in sales during the pandemic, right? These are our product-based clients. Their sales soared. And you guys know, because we talked about the statistics, online sales soared during that time. But you had to be able to pivot. You had to be able to have something available. What this guy noticed, and we talked about this, there was a gap in the market that he was able to fill with his soul food starter kits, right? Our company, we saw a gap in the market that we were able to fill. So remember yesterday, what did I tell you guys? I said, now that things are opening back up and people don't know what's going to happen, they're going to be flocking to stores. Why? Because they want to be able to get out and be among people, number one. Number two, we talked about the U.S. Postal Service. We talked about some of the mail courier services that they just don't have enough people. So now online businesses may suffer, purely e-commerce businesses may suffer because of that. They may have a lot of chargebacks, right? So you need to make sure that you have people on your team that can help you accommodate some of these things, right? That is crucial and key. I saw someone say, how do you determine who should be on your team? Here's the thing, right? When you are looking at one, what type of business do you have, right? That's the first thing, okay? If you have a business, let's say that it requires you to, let's say you have a business that goes off of a recipe. I'm just making this up, right? The question then becomes, who can you trust, right, to replace you? Because I saw a lot of people when I asked who's on your squad, right? Most of you said just me. Most of you said me, myself, and I. I really didn't see people that had multiple folks, right? So let me kind of break this down, and it's gonna make sense. Let me get my notes to make sure I'm saying this right. because I wanted to make sure to share this with you guys in a way that would make sense, right? Because we all know that your team is crucial. It can make or break your business. Okay. Think about the times that you've gone somewhere and you've had an interaction with a team member and you said, I'm never going back there. It wasn't the owner, right? It was just some team member. So this is why you have to be strategic in who you choose. So you have something called, and we call it an outward facing team, right? That is the team that is your team member or members that will interact directly with your customers, right? So think of it as customer service, concierge, right? Think of it as your intake people, depending on how you know, what type of business you have and how you have it set up, right? These are also going to be the people that they probably going to deal with customer complaints and things of that nature, right? Yes, Pat, customer service is so important. And it's one of the pillars that we actually look at. We literally have someone on our team that this is what they do, right? They work with our clients on creating the best customer service model for their particular business. Next, you have your inward facing team, right? That is going to be your team members that like touch your product. So remember, we talked about, you may have a product that has to be assembled. You may have, and that also includes like recipe type of products, right? These are the people that's going to be doing that. These are the people that's going to be making sure that your labeling is correct, right? Because again, with product-based businesses, you have labeling requirements and they have to look a certain way for big box stores. They have to contain certain information for big box stores, right? Now, just selling them direct, you don't have all these challenges, right? Now, you may have some other challenges, but this is not one. But your inward facing team are the people that make sure that your product, right, is presentable and it is the way and up to the standard that you have set for your company, right? Then you have something called your core team, right? Your core team is like your inner circle of advisors and experts. These may not even be employees. These may be people and team members that you've built. So for example, like I'm a lawyer, but I have a lawyer, right, who is counsel for our company. It makes sense, right? A lot of people are like, wow, why don't you do that? I can't do everything. And I realized that I need someone whose job is just looking out for the, honestly, to protect our business. I talk a lot about protecting your brand. I talk a lot about contracts. I talk a lot about intellectual property, right? And these are, again, these are the people that are going to be a part of your core team, right? Because you're talking about going to big box stores. You're talking about going to retailers. And guess what? In doing that, you have to make sure that all of these things are in line and all of these things are in place. And the best way to do that is making sure that you have the best possible team, right? And you have access to people that can serve as your team members. Then you have like what's called Ancillary Team, right? And these are your vendors, your resources, let's say for like packaging, labeling, where are you getting your bottles? What do they look like? And I'm just using bottles as an example, right? Are you going to the store and buying them, or are you buying them wholesale, right? Because members of your team, their whole objective is to come together for you to make sure that you are profitable, okay? The other thing too is when we're thinking about a team, just like with your customer, right? Your team rides on your voice and your frequency. And so I can't remember who asked, when you say, how do you choose the right team? It has to be the right fit. Sometimes it's not just skill and ability. Sometimes it's how well do we work together, right? Will this person carry out the vision as I've given it to them? Or are they a maverick and they want to be out on their own? That doesn't work for everybody, right? I'll use myself as an example. One of the things that my team members know about me is I'm a get the job done type of leader, right? But I'm not going to tell you how to get it done. I got one rule: don't be unethical, right? Illegal, okay? Unethical or illegal. But as long as at the end of the day, we meet the deadline, we get the job done, and it's of the quality, right, that represents our company well. Everybody isn't like that. So you got to know the type of leader you are, and then that's going to determine the type of staff you need to bring on, because it needs to be people that can complement what it is that you do, right? So when we say that your people ride on your voice, your frequency, we also talk about that in the customer context, but in a team context, right? If you think about people that you've seen and they are sold out to the company that they work for because they have bought into the vision, they have bought into the mission. So here's the thing, where there's no vision, the people perish. We've heard that several times, right? Whether you study any type of religion or not, these principles matter, okay? The other thing, right, from choosing the right team, not just the right staff, you gotta have the right suppliers. You gotta have the right manufacturers, right? If you're talking about investors, you have to have them. Family, friends, they're a part of your team. You know why? Because at the end of the day, when things aren't going well, right, or if they are going well, these are the people that are gonna be there for you. We hope, right? And you have to think about that. So, the other thing too is ambassadors, right? Who are your ambassadors? Who's repping for you when you're not around? Who's pushing your brand, right? When you're not around, right? These are all team members. I think I had some questions. I want to pause here to get some questions, to answer some questions. Let me see. Oh, okay, Terry, it was you that answered the question. Belinda says, let me see what Belinda says. I'm sorry, I have to plug in here, guys. She says, I'm not a micromanager, so my team must be able to work independently, get the job done according to my standards of excellence. Absolutely. Absolutely. And as a leader, right, we have to properly communicate those standards, right? And Belinda, I know you know about that with your HR background, right? You do a lot where it comes to standards, right? But you got to have some, okay? You have to have some you have to actually have some in your business. So here's where we're going to do a little bit of a shift, right? Here is what I want you guys to do. So this is the next homework, right? I want you to set some squad goals. Now, I've given you some principles today, right? And if you didn't have time to take notes, come back and watch this video. I've given you some principles today, and I want you to set some squad goals. And just like yesterday, right? Right under this video, if you can't do it now, I want you to come back and do it. And I want you to say, my squad goals, right? Remember, we talked about your different team areas. My squad goals are to have however many people, right? Because you know what you need, right? You know who needs to be on your core team. You know who needs to be on your forward-facing team. And you know who needs to be on your inward-facing team. I want you to think about that. What are your squad goals, right? Because your squad and setting the goals for your squad is going to determine how efficiently and effectively your business runs. Right now it's just you, I get it. Don't be concerned about money. We're talking about money tomorrow. Don't be concerned about capital. Don't be concerned about, well, how am I going to do this? Don't be concerned about that. We need you to set the goals because remember yesterday, right, you had to see your product in stores. A lot of you made the declaration. Pat went to the stores and she saw what I was talking about. But guess what? All of those empty shelves are opportunity. But instead of saying, well, I don't have enough people to be able to even fill these shelves and then fill the shelf at another store, well, then set your squad goals, right? Because you've already, you've made the declaration that you're going to be in these stores, right? So the next step is, how do I build out my present team so that I can at least have an infrastructure, right? A foundation to build on to get me there. Think about it like this, guys. The gentleman I told you guys about, and this is why I want you to research his story. He had nothing. Like he had nothing when he got started. And in 9 months, he is in multiple stores. All of you ladies and gentlemen here have a product that you're selling already. You have a product that you are selling already. I'm looking for a plug, y'all. But you have a product that you are selling already. So why am I saying that? I'm saying that because you're starting with more than what he had. Think about that. You are literally starting with more than he had. He had no real team, because if you read his story, he'll tell you he connected with different people so that they could bring this vision to life and all eat. And sometimes you have to do that. Your squad may not be employees. Your squad may be people that you can leverage and collaborate with. Your squad may be working with us. Your squad could be anything, right? What are your squad goals? What do you need that's going to get you there? But at the end of the day, what this man had to do is he had to take action. He had to pull the trigger. He had to build a team. He had to invest in himself. But most importantly, clearly he had to listen, because this was not something that he was doing previously. And so as long as you are willing to do all of those things, you have no choice but to be successful. So again, our homework, I need you, I promise, I'm going to make my appointment with you this week. Okay, Dr. Green. Squad goals, right? Drop in the comments what your squad goals are, right? Here's the next thing. Same as yesterday, right? I want you guys to start practicing putting your product out there. Katrina did it. Terry did it. Audrey did it. They all put their products out there, and then they use the hashtag Retail Accelerator Challenge, right? I'm challenging all of you. And here's the thing. If you don't have your physical product, but you have a picture of it, I want you to talk about it. The bottom line is, I want to see who's bold enough to make the declaration now and put who else. Let me say this, because we got some bold ones in this group now. We got some bold ones in this group. But I want to see who else is bold enough to put their product out there, right? Now, you don't want to tell too much. Some of y'all are already out. You're selling products. That's great. But just say, hey, I got a product that's going to do this. You don't have to give a lot of details. Hashtag product accelerator, retail accelerator challenge. I'm sorry, retail accelerator challenge. Let me put that in here. Retail challenge. All right, here we go. All right, retail accelerator challenge. I want y'all to put that out there, because the biggest thing is, once you put it out there, now you are responsible, right? I want to thank all of you for joining me live. I have shared and have encouraged you. For those of you that you know people with products, invite them, send them the link. Because remember, I told you, in the product game, there really is no competition, right? People choose the product that they want, but they will have multiple products in the same industry because they like different things that they do. Okay? Belinda already said her squad goals are to have 50 people. Right? You know how much money she's going to be making to employ those 50 people, plus have a profitable business, plus pay herself? Right? Her little granddaughter may be her ambassador. You just never know. Be creative, guys. Be creative, because tomorrow we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about how to get capital, right? But we're also going to talk about what next steps looks like for you in your business. Thank you guys so much for sharing this time with me. Don't forget, I need your squad goals, and I need to see y'all in these Retail Accelerator Challenge streets. We checking IG, we're checking LinkedIn, we're checking Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So thank you guys so much for being here with me today, and have